Hey y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to talk about the beloved Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. So this series is centering rival mafia family that centers the Irish, the Polish, the Bratva, you name it. They have a mafia family to support that in Chicago, Illinois. Starting with the first book in the series, which is Brutal Prince. This starts off as a marriage of convenience with Ada and Callum getting married, and that spirals into everyone else's books. And the plot line weaves all the way through the series. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get through each one of these books, and then we'll talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, which one is my favorite, and what happened as I read through the series. So take a look.
Hey y'all, I am in the car, so you know that means it is time for a check-in, and I'm coming to you to talk about the first in the Brutal Birthright series, which is Brutal Prince. Now, everyone has hyped this up. I mean, hyped it to the high heavens, and I'm not reading what you're reading. I'm not seeing what you're seeing. I'm not loving this as I thought I would. This is an enemies to lovers, arranged marriage, mafia romance, and granted, they do hate each other. Like, I appreciate the fact that it is not, I dislike you. No, I'm gonna try to kill you every chance I get. Like, I am trying my best to take you out of the game. Now, the problem is, I truly think it is the fact that I don't like Ada. Like, I don't like this woman. And you could say, Lisa, how is that possible? You love a boss babe. She's not a boss. Now, she's a baddie. The girl is her plot point, like, she's plotting, she's steps ahead, but she's also started off on the wrong foot with me because she was in some business that she ain't had no business being in. Like, you set things on fire. You decided that you were going to go into this man's home, and because you were stuck and trapped, you were going to light it up. Then you question why he coming after you. Duh, you deserve everything that's coming after you. And your fathers have done the best that they could and decided to marry you off. Baby, what else are you doing? You're going to school, wasting and burning money, and you're not obtaining any type of degree that is going to further you because you just don't feel like you need to. She also gives that, I'm not like other girls, I'm a tomboy. Yeah, that's fine, but baby, I don't need that. I also think that Sophie did her a disservice by continuing to write her as brown. Like, they keep talking about brown skin. Baby, you're Italian. Let's use the word tan. Let's redirect, because that is irking me a little bit. But that aside, I'm going to keep reading with it. The writing is very simple. I'm not sure if that's because this is Sophie's one of her first books. I'm not sure what it is. Now, it's easy and digestible, and maybe that's why everybody loves it. I am not a writing snob, so it doesn't bother me. I got some really good laughs from it, some chuckles out loud. So I'm keeping on in the fact that I'm hoping that it gets better in the series. At least I've already decided to probably write this one off and just power through. I'm hoping that the ones that everyone else don't talk about, that they don't love, are my favorites. Like, I'm hoping that what I get from Dante, exceptional. I'm hoping that Nero, exceptional. I'm hoping that Riona, because those are my three top people that I'm like, I feel like I vibe with you. I feel like you don't get enough hype. I feel like we're going to be together and we're going to be in the trenches, because Brutal Prince, everything that y'all are hyping up, like, even maybe it's because I know some of the plot points, it seems anticlimactic to me, which is the issue with reading books that have been hyped and talked about for so long and just getting to them. You are underwhelmed, but that's what I'm feeling. So I'm going to come back to you with my thoughts on this book once I finish it, but I will start the second in the series, which is Nessa's book, and she is giving flighty, I'm just a honeysuckle loving girl. And I don't know how I feel about that. again, I'm really just here to get to Dante. That's where I'm at. Talk to y'all soon. I needed to come back because I didn't want to be loud and wrong. I know that there are black Italians. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is she's not black. She's not Latino. She is a white Italian. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at her brothers, if you look at Dante, if you look at Sebastian, and if you look at Nero, them white men, where are we getting tan from? Unless we find out that her daddy was sleeping with somebody else and that's not, they don't share the same mother, which I'd be interested into reading. I'd give her the benefit of the doubt of continuing to stay brown skin if that was the case, but I highly doubt that. And I'm sure you all would have told me that because y'all telling everything else about this book. Now, that's my 2 points, my 2 cents. I'm gonna leave and give you my update soon.
So it's time for a check-in. I have finally finished The Brutal Prince and I'm giving it a 3. It is very mid to me, very basic Mafia 101. It's giving Sophie just started writing in Mafia or just starting writing in general. And so she was testing out the waters. Ada is not redeemed. I still don't like bratty women in books, and I feel like she was giving very brat behavior, but she's very useful, and I will say she came in clutch for Callum when it mattered, and so that is big and important for her to realize her role, because now she is going to be the first lady of, I believe he went for councilman or mayor. I can't remember what exactly. So she has to be able to flip that switch and control her anger and control her temper, which has been a very hard thing for her to do. This was very, linear. We knew who the villain was going to be. We knew how it was going to play out. It did start to build my love for Dante. Again, I am rooting for him all the way, but I enjoyed getting to see the Gallows and the Griffins and how they interact with one another, because that is important when it comes to book 2, which I absolutely devoured. Now, this is Stolen Heir, the second in the series. This is Nessa's relationship with Miko. Now, not to spoil book 1, I will say Miko has a vengeance against the Griffins. It's been building over the course of time, and it's now time to enact that. So he makes it his mission to use Nessa as a pawn. Now, Miko is the head of the Polish mafia, and he captures Nessa and puts her up in a tower. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I really liked. So it's giving Grump sunshine. Nessa is very, very bright and sunny. She is the warmth to Miko's cold. And so you get to see that interaction. And it's, again, very Beauty and the Beast. It's cat and mouse. Now, he does have a little stalker in him at the beginning, which I really enjoyed. This is a virgin heroine type of trope, and I usually am not, that's not my bag. But in this context, Nessa is everything in our female heroine that I typically don't go for, but I like it that she plays into it and she knows her role, but she also uses her wits and she starts to learn the language, and she's very easy to pick up on what's going on. She uses her innocence to her advantage, and she uses her womanly wilds in this book to turn Miko's mind. And I will say Miko definitely has that rough edge. He has gone through something traumatic, which starts off the book. And I think that's what really gravitated me towards his character, is how he starts off the book and you see immediately when his humanity switch flips off, very much giving Damon Salvatore, hey, I was once a child and I am not a child no longer. I'm going to flip that switch and this is who you get. I love the little bit of details we get about him. So the importance of the mafia, like I said, Brutal Prince is very generic mafia, kind of not giving me enough big bad. But here I loved how we were able to see, little glimpses of, chopping off a pinky to pay a debt, and how we get to see how his men kind of turn the tide for him and against him. So there's so many good things about this one that I really, really enjoyed. Again, it is a darker, more grittier version of what I've been looking for. And so to see how the distinct writing styles between the advancement you see between Brutal Prince and Stolen Heir, I think, if anything, I wouldn't tell you to skip Brutal Prince because you do need to read them in order. You do need to develop that foundational knowledge. But if you're like me and Brutal Prince just doesn't do it for you, stick in there, because Stolen Heir is where things are going to take off. You see the music and the beauty and the poetry that is shared between Miko and Nessa. Again, Miko decides to capture Nessa because of things that happen in the first book, and he really hates her and really wants to use it to his advantage. And he's smart, right? Miko is so smart that he winds up catching Dante in a bind, which never happens. And I was like, oh, okay, Miko, you might be onto something. Now, I appreciate having these copies because I picked up on Kindle Unlimited the illustrated version, and it really kind of takes me out of the story because I prefer people covers, as they say. And this is how I'm picturing Miko. Like, this man right here is doing it for me, whereas the illustrated version, I was like, this is distracting. Another thing I will say, in this particular series, I am really here for the violence. Like, I am here for the mafia aspects. In terms of the relationship, the love between the characters, I actually don't need the romance. And I think that's where my mind is starting to get tripped up on these books. Like, I am skipping past the spicy scenes because they're mid as well. They're not really doing it for me. So like, every time we get into this, spicy scene, I am moving past it. And that has never been the case. So I will tell you that for me and the series and how I'm going about it, I know I am here for the violence. I am here for the revenge. I am here for the plot twist. That is what I'm here for. So as you can see me reading these books, you will see how my reaction to the characters are going to be a little bit different than some of the other people that you watch these videos. But I can see that Sophie Lark's writing style is progressing, and her ability to capture us in and draw us into the mafia has developed as it goes over time. So I'm hoping that Nero's book, which is Savage Lover, is next. I hope that I enjoyed that, and so that I can get to Dante and to Riona, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Just finished Savage Lover, and I need y'all to know the third time is the charm. This is one of those situations where you don't listen to the internet. If you go on Goodreads, the people that have been reading this series got it all wrong. They are upset that this isn't quite mafia and that this is more of a Fast and Furious type of book with a heist romance. Sounds great to me. That's because it is great. Let me tell you, I read this basically off of the strength of Oh Hey It's McKay. And I feel like if there's anyone that's on booktube that has a similar taste to mine, that I love their recommendations, it's going to be her. And so when she said this was her favorite in a book, I had high expectations. And this blew it out the water. This book right here is where we're getting to the creme de la creme. Like, we are slowly seeing Sophie get into her bag. Now, y'all know I started off with Brutal Prince and I was like, it's not the jam, it's not the tea, y'all sold me a lie. Then I went to Stolen Air and I was like, okay, you're eating a little bit, you're nibbling. Here, you're chomping at the bit. And I'm pretty sure once I get here, we're going to be feasting. We're going to be having the best time because, again, y'all know Dante is my man. This is what I'm getting to. However, Savage Lover. Let's go back. Like I said, this is giving Dom and Letty vibes. I hear you and I feel you because this gave, I say it gave everything. There was a connection and a vibe that I felt for them. They had passions that were akin and alike to one another. They both loved cars. And I mean, to the point of where he does a grand gesture for her that I was like, Nero, you better stop. You better stop. But she deserved. Like, sis came through in a clutch. She said, if I'm going to do a crime, I'm going to go big. And baby, she said, if I'm already going to jail, we can be Bonnie and Clyde. I'm going to ride for you. Actually, correction, I'm going to drive for you. This is just a good time. Nero and Camille don't necessarily initially hit it off on the right path. Nero has no attraction to Camille. He doesn't necessarily see her. He is essentially one of the things in the town that's God gift to women. He is supposed to be like this beautiful man that really doesn't have any connections. He does what he wants with whom he wants, and that's that. And what I love about this book is that it gives more than just surface level, which I feel like a lot of the books beforehand did. There are some things that you find out about Nero that you never would have saw in him because he keeps himself guarded. He puts on this persona, which is not necessarily persona. That is who he is. He does not necessarily care for anyone other than his family members. And granted, I loved getting to know him and peel the onions back. I loved being able to see him release his trauma and be able to share that load with Camille. I love to see his bond and his brotherhood grow with the connection in him and Seb, and how Dante came in and how nothing matters but their family, and everything that they do is in support of the gallows, right? I wanted to also say that in addition to getting to know him a little bit deeper and him having that connection, you see that there's a lot going on with Camille, and he decides to step in and be there for her and be that shoulder when she feels like everything is on her shoulder, and he decides to carry that weight with her. Trust me, this woman is holding it down. She is taking care of her brother who is in high school. She actually took the load from him of being under surveillance and having to go undercover and work with a drug dealer. She decided to get her hands messy with the cop. So she is really carrying that weight. In addition, she has a sick father and she is having to take care of him as well. And that was one of the things that was very touching to me, that I felt connected with Camille. And I just feel like this book touches and goes so much deeper than some of the other books have in the past. Now, one thing that I was a little perturbed about is that, again, Sophie did go in and talk about how Nero had such beautiful tan skin, and it was almost comparative to her. Camille is Latino. Make it make sense, Sophie. Please just stop doing this. Again, I'm going to keep reading the series. But if you go in to this next book, if we get in here in Bloody Heart, and Simone, who is a Black woman, if you write Simone and you say that she says that Dante is dark skinned or tanned, and compared to they're going to have beautiful brown babies, because again, I do know that this is Secret Baby. Baby, we're going to be fighting. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't piss me off with this book. I'll see y'all soon.
Okay, I am giving y'all like the briefest check-in about Bloody Heart because I personally thought I was going to be able to make it the entire book without giving y'all an update. That was a joke. Simply because I am 4 chapters in. You heard me right, 4 chapters. And Sophie is already giving me everything that I needed because y'all know Dante is my man. I am Simone. We are one and the same. And that pool scene, let me tell you, it's going to live rent-free in my mind. Like, yeah, this is the stuff that dreams are made of, you know, fantasies are made of. And I hope that she keeps the same energy throughout the book, because I've seen some people like, oh, the first half of the book was great, the second half didn't live up to the hype. I need the vibes all the way through. I need to be living, loving, laughing, and screaming Daddy Dante. Literally. Somebody come collect me. I am a mess over here. Dante and Simone in this masquerade scene and the aftermath. I'm not gonna make it, y'all. I'm just not gonna make it. Y'all, I am 66% of the way through Bloody Heart. And I want y'all to know, it was trending to be a 5-star. Like, I am loving every single second of this. But I've reached a point. There is a line in here, and it doesn't sit right in my spirit. Like, Simone saying this one line, and then shortly after that, the belt scene following. And I knew when I looked on Sophie's page and I seen that there was like, she had did advertisement for each one of the girls in the series. And she was like, Simone selling leather belts. And I was like, she gonna do something I'm not gonna like. And generally, this would not be an issue. However, coming directly after this line is very problematic for me. And I'm wondering how no one thought to edit this. No one thought to be like, yeah, that's not okay. Like, maybe this could be harmful. Maybe it could be taken out of context. Maybe we should revisit. No one has thought that, yeah, this isn't right. Like, I'm really pissed off now. And the book that I wanted to give 5 stars, like, I just knew it was going to be 5 stars. I just can't see it. It says, he can be my master and I'll be his slave if that's what it takes to get him back again. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
All right, so I am here to wrap up Bloody Heart and honestly wrap up the entire video, because this one was my expected favorite. This is the one that I have been waiting from since book 1. I was just holding out until I got to see Dante and Simone. If you all know me, this is everything I could have wanted and more in a trope, not necessarily in a book. And I'm going to tell you why. Something egregious happened in here that honestly took me away from the entire rest of the series. Like, I do not plan on finishing Broken Vow or Heavy Crown just because I need space from this particular series. And I also have decided to sell off the spinoff series for their kids. I'm just not interested. And I think that really centers from what I experienced in Bloody Heart. This right here, like I said, was going to be my everything. It was a second chance romance. You had a Black female main character, Dante, which was the manliest man of all. He's silent and broody. This was also giving Romeo and Juliet type behavior, and the drama and the tea was just luscious. Everything was all systems go. This was going in towards of a 5-star read. Let me tell you, have you ever had the idea or the notion that if you were on death row, your final meal, which would be like your coup de grace, it would be everything that you could possibly devour in a single sitting? That is what this book in this series was going to be for me. And just like it, I was enjoying the meal. I was savoring the flavor of everything Sophie was giving in here, until I got to a hair in my meal, which threw me off. Like, after that, it was no longer delectable. I no longer wanted to read and enjoy. And honestly, quite frankly, everything started to piss me off at that point. Like, at that point, Simone just started to get on my nerves. She continued to run. Baby, you put yourself in this position. Let's not act as though a man is not going to be upset when he finds out he has a child that he didn't know about for years. Let's act like it's not unreasonable for Dante to kind of have emotions in the time. And then you decide to run away. Okay, granted, her reasons for running away the first time made total sense. You have to do the best thing for you and the future child of yours. Leave the situation. If my man came to me like Dante came to me, yeah, it's time for me to pack my bags until you can get yourself right and I can feel that I can trust you and the safety of my family. I understood that. Made 110% sense. But every time else after that you continue to run away, baby, you put yourself in this position. Let's go ahead and be grown woman about it and face the consequences and move on from there. Let's go ahead and rebuild our family and rebuild our home. Speaking about the time in which she was away, when I tell you it's juicy, it's piping hot, the family drama spilleth over. Her daddy wrong as two left shoes. Her mama was quiet as a church mouse. Her sister, while I feel horrible and terrible for her situation, I did not feel that what her family did, and I'm speaking about Simone, was justified. But they made the best of what's due. So I completely understand that. However, even that piping hot tea didn't do enough to keep me satisfied in this book, because I'm just telling you, this has been picked up by Bloom Books. Like, these have been picked up by a traditional publisher, which means that they have been revised, edited, reviewed, peer reviewed, and some more. But what y'all failed to do was ask a Black woman's opinion. We talk about sensitivity readers. We talk about beta readers. You're writing a Black woman. I would think you would ask the Black woman how she feels, specifically pertaining to this line and the circumstances and the scene that follows after it with the punishment. Let me just tell you, if you would have asked someone before sending this back out, we would have been able to rectify the situation. We would have been able to say, oh, yes, sis, that's not the move. That's not what we're going to do. It looks real bad. It sounds real bad because it is real bad. Let's just not say that, because no Black woman would honestly probably be thinking those thoughts. Like, she's going to be like, yeah, I feel like I'm going to give him whatever he wants. If he wanted me to do whatever, I'm going to do it. She's not going to say, I'm going to let you be my master and I'm going to be your slave. It's not going to happen. We're not going to do that, especially with a Black woman and a white man. I know I'm making it sound really about race, but it was triggering to me, and I'm sure to someone else it's going to be triggering. So I just wish we would have asked somebody. Also, granted, now I will say Sophie did give me a little bit, like, I enjoyed the mystery of it all in terms of trying to figure out who was out for blood for everyone. And so that was a nice little mystery twist. But after that, everything kind of soured my taste. Again, there's so many triggering things about this series for me personally that I'm just like, yeah, it's not giving what I thought it was going to give. And quite frankly, I may wind up selling this as well. These are on Kindle Unlimited, so I just don't feel the need to own them. There's going to be a large hole in my bookshelf, but I'll figure it out. If you all could do me a favor, let me know if you have read any other Sophie Lark's book. If you think that I should read There Are No Saints and There Are No Sinners, I do have that. I think that may be a safe bet for me. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be done with this particular series, with the exception, the only one so far that was a banger for me is Savage Lover. This was perfection, and the rest of the series could have missed me. If I would have just read this, I think I would have been fine, but that's not really how the cards played out. So what I'm going to have you all do, per usual, leave me a purple heart. It's my favorite heart emoji. It's my favorite color. Leave me a purple heart for Savage Lover. Tell me if you think I should read There Are No Saints and There Are No Sinners, or you think I should just be done altogether. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.